Hey guys, welcome. This is Shruti, and in today's video, I'm talking about the biggest Pinterest mistakes that I see people making, and that might be the reason why you're not growing as fast as you'd like. Now, one of the most common questions that I get asked is, how long is it going to take for me to see traction on Pinterest? And here's where I'm going to share with you a hard fact, and that is your Pinterest account will not grow overnight. Now, if you pay for ads or invest in a training program or hiring a coach or a mentor, yes, you might see faster results. But if you're not doing any of those things, it is going to take you a while before you actually see the kind of growth and traction that you're looking for on Pinterest. It might take you 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or even a year or two to see results. Why? Because growth requires time and consistency. It is not something that happens overnight or super fast. So with that said, let's talk about some of the reasons why you might be feeling stuck on Pinterest or not growing as fast as you would like. The first and most common mistake that I see people making on Pinterest is having no clear focus or strategy when it comes to your account. The first thing that you need to clarify when you're creating a business account on Pinterest is, what are your main topics or subtopics that you are going to be pinning about? Do you have targeted boards for each of these topics or subtopics so that your ideal audience can actually find you on search on Pinterest? Are you creating an account that actually attracts your ideal audience to your business, or are you creating an account that sends them away? These are all the questions that you must be asking in order to get a clear idea of what it is that you want your Pinterest account to achieve and where is it that your focus should lie when it comes to your marketing strategy on Pinterest. And this isn't just me or my experience talking. The algorithm on Pinterest is a recommendation-based engine. Now, without getting into the technical bits behind how the engineering side works, what I want to share with you is that if one day you're saving pictures of cute dogs and the other day you are creating content about the candles that you're selling, this is just going to throw the algorithm off, and it is not only going to confuse the algorithm as to what your account is all about, it is also going to not attract the right audience for your brand or business. The next mistake that I see a lot of people making on Pinterest is relying too much on automation. Now, if you're familiar with Pinterest, you're probably also familiar with TAILWIND, which is a paid automated scheduler for Pinterest, where you can actually upload a lot of pins and schedule them to your Pinterest account directly via TAILWIND. Now, while automation and using tools like TAILWIND acts as a great add-on strategy, it should never be the foundation of your strategy. When you create pins and directly upload them on Pinterest, you tend to have faster organic growth compared to when you just put them on TAILWIND and you forget about it for a month and you don't show up for weeks or months on your Pinterest account. One of the things Pinterest rewards is user engagement and activity, which means that if you do not show up for weeks and you only pin via TAILWIND, your account is not going to grow as fast. So what can you do instead to actually grow your Pinterest account? I highly recommend spending at least 5 to 10 minutes a day manually pinning either directly to your account or maybe even saving other people's content on your account. What it does is that it tells Pinterest that not only are you a creator or a publisher and you create great quality content, but you are also someone who interacts with other users, leaves comments, follows accounts, and all of those things. All of these things will signal to Pinterest that you're an active pinner whose account should be pushed and promoted to the right audience. Now, if you want to learn more about how to be an active pinner on Pinterest and why it really matters, make sure to check out this video on Pinterest SEO, where I break down the 4 main factors that Pinterest looks at when it comes to ranking your account. Moving on, the next most common mistake I see people make on Pinterest all the time is creating pins that don't get clicks. Now, when you upload and create a pin, there is a single aim for that pin to achieve, and that is to get clicks. When your pin doesn't get clicked, you don't get traffic. When you don't get traffic, you don't make sales. When you don't make sales, you don't make any money. When your design doesn't get clicked over other people's designs, that tells Pinterest that you are a creator whose content is not having any engagement, which means that it has no incentive to be pushing out your content to other new readers, which means that your account in the long run will not grow as fast as you'd like, or might even be stagnating in terms of the reach and traffic that you get from your account. Now, if you want to learn more about the art and science of creating viral pins, check out this video I did on how to create a viral pin, and you can see all of the details that you need to know to actually create click-worthy pins. Now, how can you use this information to change the way that you design your pins? I would recommend looking into your analytics or maybe even checking out the impressions that your pins are getting and seeing what are the pins that are doing better than the others, or what kind of design elements are going in the pins that are performing well compared to the ones that aren't. Because the truth is that your time is really important. You don't want to be creating pins that don't get clicks or traffic, because that means that you just wasted your time creating that pin. Now, if you want to skip all the testing and waiting, you can check out my Canva templates in the description box below and get them to start growing your account right away. All right, moving on, the next mistake is keyword stuffing. Now, we all know by now that Pinterest is a search engine, and you do need to use keywords to optimize for search on Pinterest. Pinterest. But this doesn't mean that you should be putting in 15 keywords in each of your pin descriptions, because that quite honestly is an overkill. When you stuff in too many keywords, whether that is on your profile, on your boards, or on your pins, what you do is that you confuse the people that actually end up on your account. Not only this, you don't really make it natural for a user to find you. So when you're thinking of creating descriptions for your boards or your pins, make sure to think about how would a natural user type in? What would be the words that they type in to find your content? And that is what you should be adding into your descriptions, instead of just blindly copy pasting keywords that you think may or may not work. Now, just because there's a little bit of space left in the field doesn't mean that you should fill up all of it. Less is more when it comes to keywords. If you want to learn more about how to do keyword research on Pinterest the right way, you can check out this video here to learn more about the best practices of keyword research. Alright, next up is a mistake that is not platform specific, but is something that is more of a habit instead of a mistake, and that is not being consistent. Consistency is hands down the most underrated hack when it comes to growing your reach and your account on Pinterest. Now, maybe in 2018, you could get away with just creating one pin a month and show up on Pinterest once a month and have a lot of organic traffic. That strategy, however, doesn't really work anymore. Pinterest right now is all about creating fresh pins and fresh content, which means that if you're not consistently showing up on Pinterest and you're not creating new designs and new graphics for your old as well as new content, you are going to miss out on the growth that you can get from Pinterest. Now, this doesn't mean that you should be on the content hamster wheel and create one new blog post or one new landing page every single day, but what it does mean is that you should be smart about recycling the old content that you have and creating fresh pins and fresh graphics for that old content so that it continues to generate evergreen traffic for you. Now, ideally, you should be pinning at least once every single day, but if you can't do it, make sure to find a strategy that works for you, whether that is once a week or twice a week, and stick to that strategy, because that's the only way to win on Pinterest in the long run. Now, if you're a busy person and you cannot show up on Pinterest every single day, you can use the inbuilt Pinterest native scheduler to actually schedule your pins out for weeks in advance, so that even when you're not actively showing up on Pinterest, your account is still working for you and your fresh pins are still being loaded into your account every single day. The next mistake that might be hurting your growth is only pinning images. Now, video pins have been around for a while, but it wasn't until this year that Pinterest really started promoting them aggressively. And Pinterest is not alone in this trend. Every other social media platform out there is getting a video first. This means that if you're not leveraging video pins in your strategy, you might be missing out on getting your content out there in front of new users. Now, you might be wondering, how do I create video pins if I actually don't really create videos? Creating video pins might be much less complicated than you think it is. A simple hack for you here is to just simply go into your Canva account and select the normal pin that you would pin as an image. Just make sure that you animate it, select a particular animation for the pin, which is going to make the text pop out or animate, and then export it as an MP4. Once you've uploaded this pin to your account, Pinterest is going to take a couple of hours to review that pin, and once it's reviewed, it's going to be a video pin that is free for circulation from your account. If you would like me to do a detailed video on the strategy, let me know in the comments below. Now, at the end of the day, it helps to remember that growing your account, your traffic, and your sales on Pinterest is not something that happens overnight. It is something that takes in consistent time, strategy, and effort. Now, if you would like more help and my support on growing your Pinterest account as well as your traffic and sales from Pinterest, you can check out my membership program called PINFLUENCER Collective. Details are in the description box below. Make sure to give this video a like, hit subscribe, and turn the bell notifications on so that you never miss out on my weekly videos. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next one.